everybody, Natix here. Um, Coming at you today with the next tutorial. Today the plan is to go over making your first animated object. We're going to make an object from scratch and animate it, and then after we animate it, we'll come back and make it a light source. Um, so what I mean by saying we're going to make it from scratch is we're not going to go into the assets and find one to copy off of. We're going to completely write the code ourselves. So we're going to go ahead and make this inside of our tin folder, and we will just make a new folder, and we're going to call this light pole, one word. Press enter on that, open her up, and first things first is we need our image files. Those I've already made, and you'll see them right here. This is our actual object frame or object picture. As you can see, there's 4 different instances of it. This is our different frames for the animation. Uh, if I grab my selection tool here and we select this first one, you'll see that this is 26 pixels tall and 9 pixels wide. Important information to know. And then this is our icon image, and in total this is a 16 by 16 image for pixels. Every icon should be 16 by 16. You don't have to make the image itself in there fit the whole thing, but the image itself needs to be 16 by 16, if that makes sense. I don't need to export these because I've already done that. I can actually just go ahead and close this out. And I will drag those images over from this folder. Okay, so first things first is we need to make 2 different text documents. We'll just delete everything out of there. First one we need is lightpole.object, and hit yes to change the file type. And then we'll make another new text document, delete everything, and this will be lightpole.frames. Hit yes to change that one as well. And then if we come over here, we'll see that all of that is now in here. So we will open up both the object, and why did it open up 2? That's weird. And the frames. Okay, so we're going to start out in the lightpole.object. And what we'll do is we're going to do a curly bracket, press enter. It should, if it doesn't tab out for you, you'll have to tab out. Well, you don't necessarily have to. This is just good practice to be in. And then what I'm going to do first is we're going to put a comment line, and I'm going to put define object dash, I'm just going to put default object values. So basically what I'm saying is what we're about to do is all the information regarding our object, what we're going to do, that's going to be the next couple lines. Okay, so do some parentheses, and we're going to do object name. Important information is object is lowercase and name starts with a capital letter. Do a colon, another parentheses, and we do light pole, one word, comma, do enter. Next is going to be colony tags, parentheses, colon, and now we do a square bracket. Whenever you do a square bracket, that means that you're doing an array. Arrays are storage of multiple parts of information. In particular, this array is going to store multiple strings of information. A string is basically just text. So what we're going to do is we're going to do tin, because this is one of our tin objects, and then we're going to do comma, and we're also going to do light, because this is a light source, and then just do a space there, and then put another comma on the outside of your square bracket, and then comma, and rarity we will do common. Make sure your common starts with a capital letter. Quotation, comma, enter. Now we've got description, quotation, colon, quotation. We're just going to do a beautiful, if I can remember how to spell, light pole or something like that. You can do whatever. It's up to you. Comma. Next is going to be short description. This is one of the only tags where it's 2 words, but the second word does not start with the capital letter, just to keep that in mind. Colon, and here remember this is the actual name that shows up in game for us. We're going to do light pole, 2 words, each one starting with a capital letter, or whatever you want to call it. It really doesn't matter. Next is going to be race, and it's going to be under generic, comma, category, and this will be under uh, decorative, if I can spell this morning, comma. Next we're going to do price tag, and don't do parentheses here because now we're not doing a string, we're doing a integer. Integers are just numbers, they don't have anything around them. We will just make this cost 100. Do a colon, or I mean a comma, sorry. Next line, printable, whether or not this object can be printed in a 3D printer. This is up to you. Um, Again, don't do parentheses. This is what we call a boolean. Boolean are basically true or false. And you can do whatever you want. I'm going to make it true. And that is going to be it for right now for our defining our default object values. I'm going to press enter twice, and we're going to do another comma, and we will do race descriptions. I don't think I really need to define on what race descriptions are. Uh, I'm just going to copy in some blank race descriptions. You guys can do whatever you want. Just keep in mind it's Apex description, Avian description, Florian, Glitch, Human, Hytol, and NovaKid. Just easy enough. And then the colon, parentheses, and then whatever you want the description to be. I'm just putting periods for now. And then I forgot up here, we need to do inventory icon colon, and this is going to be icon.ping because I only called the image up here icon for our inventory icon. Okay, so down here, define animations. Okay, so start out with orientation, colon, square bracket, because it's going to be an array. Do a curly bracket, press enter, and now we're going to do image, colon, and this is going to be the image file it's looking for. So light pole dot ping colon uh, less than value sign color greater than value sign. I believe that's correct. I'm not 100% sure. Dot frames or dot frame. Sorry. Oh, nope, nope. Do another less than frame greater than parentheses, and that's what it should look like. Comma. Next one is going to be image position. We talked about this a little bit in the last episode. This is basically where the image is going to orientate itself around the mouse when you're placing it. Um, our image is 26 by negative 9 or by 9, so I'm going to make it negative 9 and 0. Just do a square bracket. Frames is how many frames total in the image. If we look at the light pole.ping, we have 4 different frames that you can see there. So we'll just do a 4, comma, animation cycle, colon. This is going to be how fast the animation runs for the object. 1 is the default speed of the game. The higher you go, the slower the animation speed. Um, so the lower you go, the faster it goes. Um, we're going to do 1.5, comma, space scan. Uh, this basically is just telling it to search for where you're placing it to see if it is placeable. We'll go a little bit more in depth on this later. I need to get a better understanding of it myself before I can really give you guys more, but just for now, we will do 0.1, comma, and then anchors is our final line. And anchors is basically going to be where can this object be attached? Your choices are left, right, bottom, top, and background. Because this is going to be a light pole that sits on the ground, we're going to do bottom, and that's going to be it. And we're done with our light pole object. So you can hit Control S to save. If I went a little too fast for you guys, feel free to pause, go back, look at it, do what you gotta do, or you can just go to the video description and download the uh, asset files and get this. Okay, we don't need this, so we can close that out. Next, we're going to look at lightpole.frames. So what we'll do is do a curly bracket, press enter, frame grid, quotation, colon, another curly bracket, press enter, and we got size, colon. Okay, so our size, put a square bracket there, is the size of one frame. What is the dimensions of one frame? We are 26 by 9. Put a comma on the end of that. Now we've got dimensions. This is defining how many frames there are and how many rows of frames. So we have another square bracket. We have 4 frames on one row, just like that. You don't have to put a space here. You can. It doesn't make a difference. Just however you want to do it. Next is going to be names, colon, square bracket again. This time we're going to press enter. And we're going to hit square bracket again. The reason why we do a square bracket again, so the names is going to define the name for each frame of the object. Right now we have 4. So what we'll end up doing is we're going to have a parentheses, comma, parentheses, comma, parentheses, comma, parentheses. So we've got 4 sets of parentheses here. That's going to be our 4 frames. If we were to have another row of frames, then we would have a comma on the end of this square bracket and do the exact same thing that we did here, like that. And we would go through and name these all whatever we want them to be named. And we will do an advanced animation tutorial later on down the line. Right now, we're just doing a basic one where you guys got your understanding of how it works. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of that. You can name these whatever you want. You can do light pole if you want to. Um, it really doesn't matter what you do. Um, just I think I'm wrong. Yeah, okay, I'm wrong. Um, it, it's going to be a two-part thing, but first it has to be default. The first part of it needs to be default, and then you'll put a period, and then whatever you want to be. So this can be light pole 1 if you want. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do light pole or default 0, default dot 1, default dot 2, and default dot 3. Come down here to this second to last curly bracket and put a comma on the end of it. Press enter, and we're going to do aliases, curly bracket, enter, default dot default, comma, is default dot 0. Now, what this is saying is the game is going to look, when we place this game in the world, it's looking for the starting frame. And the starting frame is called default. It's the default frame. Um, so what we did is we told it the default frame is going to be default.0. So now it knows this is our starting frame. When we place it in the game, it's going to start on frame 0, and then it's going to animate through. That's all it does. It is required. You do need to have it, so don't skip it. But once you have all of this right here, we're done. That's it for this file. So we wrote out this all for our object, and we wrote out our frames file for our object. We've got our images. If you want these images, download the assets in the video description below and go ahead and use them. Otherwise, make your own. It's not very difficult. It can look like however you want. You can come back, edit it later. It doesn't matter. But we're going to go ahead and say this is good. And we will go ahead and control copy this. And we'll come back to Starbound, go into our mods folder. If you have an instance here of a previous version, go ahead and delete your version and paste your new one in there. And then I need to go ahead and start up Steam and launch Starbound and get into game. So once I have everything back up and running and we're in game, I'll be right back. Alright, you guys, we are back. We're in game. As you can see, we've got our chair here from last episode. Everything looks the same. So let's go ahead and give our light pole a test. So if you're not in admin mode, then do /admin. If not, or if you're already in it, then just do spawn item, and we'll do light pole, one word. And you saw it appear there. There's our inventory icon. It looks correct. Not really sure what's up with the preview image there. That's kind of weird. Oh, you know what? I know what happened. Okay. Close out of your game. So we've got this backwards right here. It needs to be 9 by 26. And then, okay, I did that one correct. This one's right, but I had that one backwards. It goes width by height, not height by width. So we'll have to recopy this, repaste it in here, replace files and destination. Cool. And we'll go ahead and get back in game, and we'll be right back in just a second, guys. Alright, you guys, we are back. And if I come over, you can see now it shows the image correctly. Okay, so if you see it, my mouse is just a little bit off to the side of it. That's because we set the thing to -9, so it's putting the image 9 to the left of my cursor. and then it's not placeable anywhere. I can't place it on the ceiling. I can't place it on this wall. But if I come to the floor, it's placeable. And if you look at it, it is indeed animating. Let me go ahead and zoom in here just a little bit. And you can see it going. Looks beautiful. Doesn't give off light right now, so if I get rid of these lights, it's not doing anything for us. So now, let's go over making it do lights. Go back to your light pole.object. After your race descriptions, we'll do another comment here, and we'll do light values. And in here, we're going to do light color, parentheses, colon. This is going to be an array. This is where we define the color that the light is going to be given off, and we do so in a RGB value. So it's going to be 0 to 255. 0 is the absence of color or black, and then 255 is all color or white. So if we did 255 by 255 by 255, this will give us a white color. What we'll do is we can open up our image software. If you're using Pixel Edit, then you can follow me along here. Drag in our image. Press Alt to do the eyedropper, or you can just click over here for eyedropper. Select the color in here that you want. Press here, and here is our RGB value, 178 by 255 by 247. I'm going to go just a little bit lighter here. So we've got 211 by 255, and we'll do 250. We'll do 210, 255, 250. Okay. So right here is 210, 255, and what was that, 250, I believe? 250. If you guys, no, I don't think that's a thing. Okay. So then, next is going to be light position, where the light is going to come from on the object. Oops. Don't forget to add a comma on the end of your code there. This is going to be another array. And now we're choosing where we want the light to come from. So we close out of that. Grab your selection tool. So right here in the corner at the tip of that area there is a value of 0 and 0. And we go over, we want to go 5 over, which is going to be -5, and then we come down 5. So we want this to be -5, -5, where our light position is. So we'll type in -5, -5, comma. Okay. So now what we need is our light animation frames. And this is pretty easy to do. Just for an example so you guys can see how this works, I'll open up another light. So we'll just come over into objects and we'll go generic. And let me just find a light here. I don't want to do either of those because I know that they're actually a little bit different. Let's do an electric light. As you can see, this one's got quite a few different images going on. Don't worry, we don't need that many because we're not making this very complex. But we need is we're going to need this electric light ceiling lit. And if we look at this, it's, yeah, I'm not going to bother. Okay. I didn't mean to close that. Oops. Okay, not a big deal. Okay, so this is pretty easy to make. what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Control A to copy this, and I'm going to make a new layer, and we'll hit Control V. And what I'll do is where we have this, I actually want to delete it. We're going to, whoops, cancel, hide this layer. So delete all these out. Okay. And then, whoops, that's not wanted. We're going to make another copy of this layer by itself. And we will change the blending mode of this to multiply. Can I duplicate layer? Yep. Make another copy of this one, change it also to multiply. And we're going to do this a couple times until we have a complete black image. Duplicate. I believe this will be the last one. Multiply. Okay. It's not entirely black. We could probably do one more, but this is going to be fine. Okay, and then down here on the very bottom one, we have our color still. And then if you see down here under RGB, we have one that says A. This is our alpha or transparency. We're going to set this to 100. We're going to hit our fill tool. Oops, that didn't work. Okay. That's because I didn't hit the correct tool. And we're going to fill this in. It's barely noticeable, but there is a blue tinge to that. What this is saying is that the light is not going to affect this part of the object. This is going to be in full bright at all times. Everything else around it is going to be affected by the light source. And I did the blue tinge here so that it looks like it's giving off a little bit more blue light. It's going to look really cool. So we'll go ahead, File, Export Image, Browse, go to Light Pull, and what we do is Light Pull Lit, L-I-T, dot ping. Don't need to type in the dot ping. It's going to do that on its own. Save. Okay, so we're done with that. And now in our define animations, we got to change a couple things, starting with our image line. So go to the start of this line, don't delete it, go to the start of this line and do a parentheses and type in image layers, parentheses, colon. Now you're going to do a curly bracket. You can delete one because it's going to put it in front of that. And you can go to the end of this and put in your other curly bracket. Then put in or not curly bracket, but square bracket, sorry. And then on the inside of your square bracket, put a curly bracket, delete the one it generates, hit space, go to end of this one, go right before the comma. No, sorry. Go after the comma and do the closing curly bracket, hit space, put a space between all of those. At the back of this curly bracket, go ahead and do the comma. Can't think. Okay. It's going to give you all these errors that I've got going on. Don't worry about it. Oh, I need to put a comma here as well at the outside of the square bracket. Okay, so now we have image layers, square or colon, square bracket, curly bracket, then our original code that we had there, comma, closing curly, comma, closing square, comma. Okay, so at the end of our original code where we have that first comma, hit space and type in full bright, colon, true. That's what's going to tell it that the image needs to be full bright. Now, if we come to outside of the curly bracket, after the comma, hit space, do a open curly bracket, it should generate both of them like that if you're using a code editor. Hit space twice, go back to the middle there, do some parentheses, and now we're going to type out basically the same thing we got over here. Go image, comma, colon, and now we're going to do light pole lit, whoop, not list, just lit, dot ping, and uh, oh, not a comma, sorry, or not a parentheses. Okay, so we got light pole lit dot ping, and then we're going to do the colon, and then the greater than or whatever greater than less than color dot greater than less than frames like we did before, closing parentheses because I accidentally deleted that, and that is going to be it. So let me go ahead and expand this for you guys so you can see it all. So we got the image layers, open square, open curly, our original code, plus the full bright true, closing curly, comma, open curly, the new code to put in our image lit, closing curly, closing square, and then the rest of our code. And that is all we got to do to get the light onto our object. So go ahead and save that. And if you want to put the light stuff up here in the default object stuff, you can. The only reason I kept it separate is because this right here and the new image layer that we added is all that makes it into a light source. So we're done with that. Whoops, that's not what I wanted. We'll just minimize it. Why is there a second one there? Okay. Go ahead and control copy that and go back to your asset or your Starbound folder, delete the instance we had, paste in the new one, and then I will see you guys in game in just a second. All right, you guys, we are back. I don't know why it's on that. As you can see, we do have light coming from that. If I pick it up, it gets dark in here, and then I can place it back down, and the room gets a nice little blue tinge to it. And that's really it. Pretty easy. A lot of stuff in this video. I expect you guys will probably have questions. So just either leave a comment or get on Discord, ask about us there, or get on the Starbound community forums and ask there. I'll respond wherever you guys are. If you want to see something specifically that you don't think will take very long to do, go ahead and ask. The plan for the next episode is we're going to make a lever that can turn lights on and off through wire, like this right here, how this stuff can be wired. We're going to add wire options to this light and then make it so we can turn it on and off with our lever. After that, we are going to create a crafting station like these. We'll make one that can be upgraded, just like these. And then when we're done with the crafting station, that will conclude our introduction to objects as a whole. And then we are going to move on to creating weapons. We'll start out with just melee weapons, creating swords, hammers, staffs, wands, etc. And then we'll go on to ranged weapons. And then after weapons, we're going to cover armor. So there is the plan for now. If you guys have any questions, again, just ask. Otherwise, I'll see you next episode. Thanks. Bye. Oh, wait. Before I do that, your assignment. Okay. So your assignment, I've had you guys create a full set of 10 objects. We've now created our first light source. What I want you to do, go ahead and create cobalt objects. And I know some of you guys have kind of cheated and done cobalt instead of tin. Um, you know who you are. So what I want you to do, if you've done the opposite material to what we've done here, then I want you to go ahead and create the whatever. So if you've done tin, create cobalt. If you've done cobalt, then create tin. If you've done both, then I want you to go back and create everything we've done in bronze. Yeah, bronze. Remember that resource we added in the beginning? I want you to go ahead and create everything up to this point in bronze that we've done for everything. Um, and that is your guys' assignment. All right. I'll see you next episode. Bye.